How's it going, everybody? Today we are looking at some comebacks. Now, I haven't watched any of these before, but we're going to see what we can learn about the way that people responded in these clips to particular offenses and insults, and what you might learn in your own life if somebody comes at you in a way that you find a bit too aggressive.
Do you go in the water or the ocean a lot? Or you? Because some people hate the ocean.
No, I like the ocean. I do. I like the ocean very much.
Yeah, that's great. Do you float a lot in the ocean?
Sure. What do you sink? Might be that cast iron heart.
That's perfect. That is perfect. So this can be a great technique when somebody is insulting to you. And this is actually one that plays in real life. Somebody says something that implies an insult. Answer it very literally. Sometimes you can kill them with kindness because they'll say something that has a sarcastic subtext. You respond like it's a compliment, and the conversation, either they have to insist that they were being rude to you and you need to get the subtext, or they're kind of forced to just have given you a compliment because you've received it as one. So that's a good handle. If it's coming across rude or unkind, to just call it out as mean can be an incredibly effective response.
What's his name?
Hans Taywin.
Can you do a little bit of this thing?
He's a Dutch absurdist. One of the things he does is he brings out a sock puppet, which is a black sock.
See, already I don't like him.
Yeah, no. All right. It's a white sock.
Oh, okay.
And then
I've seen parts of this before, and the way that Burnham, and the video is perfectly titled, he burns in the green room and he earned respect from all these comics with a wit that is just so sharp. And we've talked about this kind of thing, very tough to do in the moment, but purposeful misinterpretation. And he absolutely nails it right there by misinterpreting what he said, cracking a joke, super witty, tough to replicate though. I'm curious, but the UK's House of Parliament is wild. Coming from America and seeing how we conduct things in the Senate and the Congress, this is where charisma and burns and shouting over people, this actually seems to be integral to the politics in the UK.
Andy Coulson to the heart of the British government.
It's good to see the honourable gentleman on such good form. I often say to my children, no need to go to the National History Museum to see a dinosaur. Come to the House of Commons at about 12:30.
How is this? Look, this guy's trying not to laugh. Look at him trying not to laugh. This, as shown in American politics in the last 4 or so years, is incredibly effective, and even before the last 4 years.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
Just punching back and not acknowledging what has been said is more effective at swaying the masses, weirdly enough. And because you're not even addressing what has been said about you, you're swinging back. I don't recommend this for your own life because it's not a way to address, one, what might be a flaw in your own way of living or thinking, and two, it's not going to make you any friends. But if all you need to do is get 51% of the people to back you, or at least 51% of the people in particular states, this has proven to be incredibly effective.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
And what you actually see there is another example of purposefully misinterpreting why somebody would say that. The other thing that I remember is that during her campaign, temperament was this big thing that she was trying to hammer home, that he's unhinged, that he's out of control and crazy. And he was able to effectively make the temperament argument work against her by saying, no, you're afraid of my temperament because it's going to be bad for you, not because it's going to be bad for Americans.
What you should probably do is lay down and just let the sun cook it off.
Oh, that seems like an excellent idea, but I'm not as dumb as I look.
How could you be?
Wait a minute.
That is...
And sing!
Oh, that's not a comeback. That's just a burn. Safe to assume that they're messing around, that she doesn't actually hate him and isn't regularly ragging on him. When somebody cracks a joke at your expense, sometimes, in fact, many times when it's a friend, the best thing that you can do is join in and laugh, because if you resist it and you don't have a clever comeback for it, you just look insecure about it. So we are back a few days later. You can see how my quarantine work ethic has been, but we're gonna finish this video right now. And one thing that actually occurred to me, I do have some other clips that I wanna show, but there's a fictional character that has some excellent comebacks, and it's The breakdown that I wish I did, we kind of missed it, and it's Jaime Lannister. I've had this clip in my back pocket for a while. So what you're going to see in this back and forth is that Ned is insinuating, without actually saying, that Jaime is a coward, he doesn't fight, and you're going to see that insinuated multiple times. His response is almost always to agree and expand.
I know people have been swinging at me for years, but they always seem to miss.
Choosing your opponents wisely, then.
I have a knack for it.
This kind of a response where you agree with him is very disarming because it shows that you are not affected. And if you can't come up with something super witty in the moment, just to agree and let them know that you're unaffected can be quite a powerful comeback.
You're always very quick, are you, Howard?
I've seen this one.
In some things, yes. In other things, I like to take my time, if you know what I mean.
I've absolutely no idea what you mean. What do you mean?
Somehow I don't doubt that.
It's a little bit of a verbal aikido, verbal jujitsu, is where you're using what somebody else said against them, which is why this agreeing thing is so useful. And as I think about it, when you fight and rage against something that somebody said to you, even if it's mean, if you don't come up with a really witty comeback when you're fighting them, you look like you've overreacted. So interestingly, if you can just agree and go with it, you might have a really interesting comeback. And in the cases where you don't, you at least are coming across like you're not terribly affected by what they've said.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader.
This determined the presidency in a big way.
Your way to the
let's see,
presidency.
I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
So this is interesting. There's nothing necessarily witty about what's being said here, but what Trump is doing is he's effectively changing the subject. Sometimes just talking over someone, if they don't handle it well and they clam up in the way that Bush kind of did, where he had nothing left to say, he looked exasperated, it just made him look what Trump was saying, which is he looked weak. This is where I started paying attention to Donald Trump.
There's a time when you snuck into the room to see what the...
I sneaked into the room. Snuck isn't a word, Conan, and you went to Harvard and you should know that.
This is just... Don't correct...
Snuck! Past and past part of sneak!
So it is not worth it to correct someone's grammar in an unkind or rude way. But if you do that, you are opening yourself up to any mistake that you ever make, like you put a preposition at the end of a sentence, which I'm sure I've done a million times in this video. You don't want to set up this kind of precedent for yourself. So be understanding of mistakes that people make in their pronunciation or the words that they use. And if you want to be helpful at a separate point in time, you can correct them. Tangent done. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video for the second time and we got it done in a handful of days. If you liked it, go ahead, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the blue background. I think it's blue. A lot of you were very confused when I said it was green last time because either I'm colorblind or it's not coming across the way that I'm seeing it on camera. But let me know what colors you guys like. If you have other suggestions for things that I can react to or talk about, and if you have other suggestions for things that I can react to, go ahead and let us know in the comments. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.